All right, guys, let's talk about happiness. So, I used to have this idea, and I read this from some guy that used to work at Google, which is that happiness is when your expectation is close enough to your reality, or vice versa, right? Your reality is close enough to your expectations. What I ended up coming to conclusions was that the key to happiness is suffering. Let me explain. So, I remember I used to have this idea: if I just finish school, get a job, have financial stability, have all my needs met, I was gonna be good. I can rest on my laurels. What I ended up finding out was that I felt miserable. I was sad. I was frustrated. I got to the point where waking up in the mornings was a struggle. It was difficult, and I just was like, this isn't what I signed up for. What I realized along that those tough times was that the happiness, what I felt most was during those turbulent times, moments of crisis, right? When I was struggling, when things were difficult, when I wasn't sleeping, when I was just grinding, when every day you didn't really have time to reflect, right? It was just like constant in motion, right? And it was just, that was just what it was, right? That was normalcy for me. And that was suffering, right? But I was happy in the midst of all that. So what I realized after that was that I needed to find reasons to suffer, right? I needed to put myself in a position to suffer, to struggle, to see what I was made of, to try to build my testosterone, right? To use my energy, to sweat, to be, to just have a hard time purposely, right? Because otherwise, what can you do, right? You can find plenty of reasons to stay comfortable, to stay fragile, to not really challenge yourself to be better. So, if you're worried about happiness, I would say forget about it. Don't think about it. Focus on struggle. Focus on doing hard things. And happiness comes, ironically, as a direct or indirect result of chasing suffering instead of chasing happiness. So that's the thing. A lot of people talk about happiness as sort of like the end all be all, that should be the mission. But I think you're missing the point of life if you're just chasing happiness, right? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, there's plenty of places around the world where people are happy with less, and people that have more are more unhappy, right? So it's kind of like a flip, right? An inverse. You would think that if you had everything, you'd be more happy, right? And if you had less, you'd be less happy. But that isn't always the case. Obviously, there's some exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, I've been to places that you would think people are going to be upset, people are not happy with their conditions, and what you end up seeing is people finding moments of joy. And on the flip side, for example, you're in a developed country, right, in the U.S. or anywhere in the West, you end up seeing a lot of unhappy people, right, because their expectations of what they want out of life don't pan out, right, as they think they will, right? And I grew up in that generation where there is this idea that things are supposed to be easy, right? At least that's what I thought in my mind when I was going through school, was that, college is the hard part. Everything after it is the easy part. Boy, was I mistaken. So I just want to leave you with that idea in mind, right? Is that forget about happiness, focus on chasing struggle, right? Focus on suffering, and you'll end up being happy as a result. Try it out, see for yourself, see what you think. Let me know. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys in the next one.